Welcome to the Mimi News. Today's story will blow your mind. First, a woman arrives at the boarding school ready to pack up 3 kids. Good thing Mary took a few days off. These destined enemies narrowly miss each other. Anna takes her kids on a new adventure, but some experienced women can sniff out the opportunity. The well-dressed woman's mystery hints Anna. She must plan for her 3 hungry kids. What happens next is as smooth as butter. The woman uses her superpowers or charm to gain trust and establishes her survival plan. After all, hatred won't fill your stomach. Forget George. The real quest is about finding those resources. In an instant, Mary brought the injury to Wellington Hill. Excitedly, the woman said she wanted to plant potatoes there. She even plans to brew potato booze. After all, it's rich in resources, soil and sweet spring water. With all the right conditions, just lacking human factors. Though free, Mary's ex-con label makes business hard. He's an exception. The injury has some serious pull here, and the colonial officials are practically her buddies, so Mary is ready to use his name to start her factory. At first, the injury was a bit reluctant, but Mary's kindness melted her heart fast. I mean, who can assist helping a poor woman in need? Mary's potato factory's open, brewery thriving. Everything's on track until an old friend unexpectedly visits. The working woman suddenly realizes, oh no, the bridge angel's here, and she never expected her old flame to return. At this moment, all of Mary's weight and effort pay off, but the longing for peaceful living always comes with a twist. One night, Solomon spots the person lying under the bridge. He rushes to check. Unfortunately, she seems to have said goodbye. Nearby, a wrapped bundle makes Solomon realize that this woman may have dropped out of the race during childbirth, and her belly is still slightly. At this moment, he boldly decides, pulls out his nose hand, rolls up his sleeves, and next day, appears before Mary with twin babies. Mary is momentarily taken aback, and it must be said, her behavior totally gives the wrong impression of her identity. Turns out, Bill, a friend of Solomon in London, was exiled to Australia for no reason and witnessed this tragedy. So she has to take these little ones home. Kind-hearted Mary has no kids when her husband suggests sending them to an orphanage. She immediately decides to adopt these 2 little ones. What a great choice! But wait, why is there a chocolate baby in the mix? Maybe the deceased had 2 boyfriends at the same time. But no matter what, they've decided to adopt these 2 kids. And so it begins. Fast forward 10 years, under Mary's care, the 2 endured daily until Anna's family moves to Obat, shattering the tranquility. Anna was actually Solomon's ex-wife. Due to some changes in fate, she brought her kids to seek refuge with a wealthy gentleman. Now that the kids have grown up, Anna hopes the gentleman will hand over some businesses to her son. But, of course, he's not his biological son. Plus, David doesn't have a clue about business anyway. A remark filled with sarcasm makes the boy unable to bear it any longer, and he turns bright red with anger, storming back to his room. Days later, Mary and her husband are sorting out the bills. The brewery hasn't profited in ages and is on the verge of bankruptcy. Today, her kids play outside too long, leaving trembling Mary anxious. She calls out, but gets no answer. She decides to search the hills for them, but to no avail. Not a single trace of them on the whole Wellington Hill talk about a wild goose. This plunges Mary into instant, endless sorrow, but greater troubles loom ahead. Solomon encounters an unexpected guest that night, his own son, David. Without hesitation, the boy pulls a gun on his father. Despite Solomon's neglect, does that justify this? They then step into the nearby warehouse, and David hands his father something that looks like a black finger, clearly to imprison the 2 kids. David isn't doing well at his stepdad's, so he's gone extreme seeking belonging from his father. He knows his father hides a safe in London. Containing all their savings, he plans to use this shameless tactic to get the password, or face a finger daily. However, Solomon doesn't hold back on the truth and immediately informs Mary. But she, for some reason, is deliberately hiding the secret of this. Mary can't understand why she'd do that and assumes it's the evil woman pulling the strings. So she can't take it anymore and decides this marks a tense moment of the first showdown between the 2 women after many years have passed. In fact, Anna is completely in the dark and has no idea what's happening. Everything is the doing of son David, until Solomon appears and plops the finger in front of Anna. She still can't believe her son would do. Meanwhile, Mary notices discrepancies. The little black boy's finger had scars, but the one in front of her doesn't. So it's safe to conclude that David didn't do anything foul, but he may well have kidnapped the 2 kids, and all this chaos stems from the safe password. When Anna uncovers this, it's already escalated to this level. Should we really keep her? Back home, Mary begins to doubt their loyalty. After all these trials, is Solomon still reluctant to speak? The truth is, Solomon didn't tell Mary about the safe because he didn't want the thing to complicate their lives. In the first place, the safe was the ticking time bomb. What they should really focus on is how to get their kids back. A few days later, the couple is slowly looking older after losing their kids. However, there's always a glimmer of hope in the darkest times. Old convict Billy suddenly appears before them. Even though years have passed, Solomon recognizes his good brother in an instant, but Billy isn't here to rekindle old flames. He's heard the ruckus about missing kids echoing throughout the town, and by chance he saw a child and an enslaved black kid bound by chains. They may share the same skin, but it's clear he's not one of them. Could Billy be talking about Mary's son? So, she sets off alone on a journey to find her son based on Mary's clues. Solomon hasn't come with her due to ill health, and thus begins her wild adventure deep. As soon as Mary lifts her head, she spots a wild dog not far away, and she's instantly frightened out of her wits. Her scream draws the wild dog's attention. She drops everything and flees down the mountain. The beast doesn't follow,